Sure, let's admit the participants. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Very warm welcome to all of you on this Friday noon. Thank you so much for joining today's session. I'm sure like you are going to get benefited from this session a lot. So this is the session like where you will get a chance to interact more with speaker. Whatever questions, queries you have with respect to your like the paramount thing, the happiness, whether we are working from office, working from home, whether it is our career related to our personal things, like everything depends on the happiness. So feel free to ask question, feel free to react on chat option, whether you are agree, disagree, whether you need more clarity on any specific pointer, please feel free to communicate and be open. All right, so we are all set to begin with our today's masterclass. Very warm welcome once again to all of you. Would you believe me if I tell you that the happier your employees are, the more successful your company will be? It may sound like the definition of a career management style, but study after study has shown that employee happiness has a direct correlation to your bottom line. Happiness is contagious. By listening to your people and responding to their feedback via our happiness and engagement solution, you will create a domino effect where happiness spreads through your business. Let's hear it from our expert today who will be sharing with us her learnings and versions. HR Association of India welcomes you all to the 2021 Dialogue Masterclass series on the topic Employee Happiness. To know more about HRAI, I would request all of you to visit the link and details posted in the chat window. You can also go through our social media handles on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram as well. I request all the participants to follow the webinar guidelines, which is mentioned in the chat window. Towards the end and before Q&A session, we will be running a poll to capture your valuable feedback. So please share what you like, what you don't like, so that it will give us chance to improve. It's now time to introduce our master for today, Ms. Mallika Rao, mindfulness life coach and corporate wellness consultant at mallikarao.com. An award-winning life coach, keynote speaker, lifestyle mentor, mindfulness teacher, and a philanthropist, Mallika brings over 16 years of learning experience in holistic wellness. Named as Women of Excellence by the Indian Achievers Award and recognized as a global goodwill ambassador, Mallika actively promotes mindfulness and meditation for mental and emotional wellness. A fascinating blend of Asian Eastern wisdom and modern Western science, the signature coaching program has helped hundreds of professionals and entrepreneurs to step up their game and live their best life. Together with her coaching, keynotes, workshops, Mallika has helped thousands of people find calm, clarity, and confidence. I'm really looking forward to this session. I now hand over this platform to Ms. Mallika. Over to you, Mallika.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, Nehali, and all the kind words you have said. It is really my pleasure to be here. A very good afternoon to everyone. And I'm really excited to be here. So quickly, may I request you all to turn on your videos, if you may please, if it is possible. See, as it is for speakers, it's kind of weird to just look at blank screen and keep talking. All right, wonderful. So quickly, how are you how are you all doing today? So quickly put it in the chat box at least, so I know I'm not speaking to robots. How are you all doing today? Great, fantastic, Tushar. Great. Magical day, Nihali, fantastic, good. Weekend mode. See, it's very important to write it or at least say it, because whenever we do something of that sort, your subconscious mind registers that it is really happening and it can experience those emotions. We're going to talk about those things more in the session. Very pleasant, fantastic, powerful, very good. How many of you are feeling sleepy? All right, good, powerful, fantastic. Thank you so much for responding. Now, the topic of this conversation is employee happiness. So how many of you actually believe that happiness could be one of the challenges we are facing right now, or lack of happiness is one of the challenges we all are facing right now? And if it has to happen, in your case, how much would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? If lack of happiness is a challenge, 10 being very severe problem, 1 being neutral, how much would you rate yourself? Okay. Mukesh, it is yes. Tushar, okay. Very good. Very good. Fantastic. Okay, great. And I will assume that most of you are coming from the HR fraternity, so employee happiness becomes one of your primary responsibilities. So in that case, how many of you believe that this could be a game changer? So how important is employee happiness for you all, or for the organization to thrive and improve the productivity? 10 being absolutely important, 1 being neutral. How much do you think employee happiness would really help? Okay, 10 plus. May I request all of you to put in, please? This idea is just to bring more consciousness to this question and to understand why it is so important. Okay, Megha says infinity. Very good. Okay. Any more? Divya, Pooja, Rajiv, Hina Khan, Sandeep, Sandra, Manish. All right. 10. Okay, fantastic. So everybody agrees that it is very important to the employees to be in feeling safe, secure, and happy in order for them to perform better. Right? Okay, so I will take this forward by sharing a little about me. And many years back, at the beginning of my career, I was with the corporates, and I have worked in the HR space, and employee satisfaction, customer centricity, all these were of very important. They were important values we were supposed to be driving in the organization. And being a corporate employee myself, I do understand why it is so much more important for us to be delivering at the best of our ability. Now, over the years, a lot has changed. The corporate space also has changed immensely. And then we also understand happiness much differently than we did last time or many years back. So what actually has come to my understanding is that we often believe that when we have a certain thing, like when I get my promotion, I'm going to be happy, or when I finish this project, I'm going to be happy, or when I get so much of salary hike, I will be happy, and so on and so forth. Or when I buy my dream car, I will be happy. We often do that, right? How many of you believe, have you ever told that to yourself? If I get this, I'll be happy. Is it even true? I know I told myself many times that, when I get so many or when I buy my dream car, I'm going to be happy. Or how many of you have actually seen that going with your employees? Yeah, correct. So to a large extent, we do believe it. And if it is not consciously, sometimes we unconsciously follow it too. But there was tremendous research that has been done in the space of happiness. And research also backs it. And you all have been professionals and you have seen enough and dealt with enough people. So you would agree that happy people are obviously productive. It's not the other way around, right? Which means that when you are happy, you are able to accomplish more. When you are happy, you become healthier. When you are happy, you contribute more. When you are happy, you're connecting with others better. Right? When you're happy, you're solving the problems in a better way. When you are happy, you have more clarity. When you're happy, you have more confidence. And when you're happy, you're more calm, and you're not getting riled, you're not getting triggered too fast. And that's how you're able to improve your creativity and also productivity. Isn't it? All right, fantastic. So when we look at happiness, so as a mindfulness life coach, when professionals come to me, and especially when executives work with me, usually the problems that they share, or rather challenges that they share, are that they are experiencing burnout or extreme stress. Now, or they could also rephrase it and say lack of inner peace. There is balance that is missing, Malika. Now, what happens is when we are in the flow of things, when we are when people are in the flow of career, or at least they have targets, they have goals, and there is a career map, and they want to achieve financial goals, they want to grow very fast in their career, and so on and so forth. Sometimes we are running so fast that we could actually miss the bus on so many other levels of our life. And because of which, a lot of times professionals experience burnout. Burnout comes in the form of where there could be lack of energy. There could be, their health could be suffering. They could be finding it difficult to focus on the task in hand. Or they feel that usually there is a lot of lethargy and they're not finding anything enthusiastic to be part of. Or they could also be times where they actually feel a lot of distress. And this has happened not just once. I mean, we all go through it at one point or the other when we are running in the, in this fast-paced world. Now, when we are looking at happiness, there are three aspects of it where we need to work, right? Usually what often happens is that at least back, years back when I was working with corporates, we were considering happiness at workplace, which is fantastic. It is amazing, must be done. It's important that the work environment also contributes a lot to the happiness. But again, human beings do not exist in silos, right? We are sum total of a lot of experiences. For example, if you're healthy and if you have amazing relationships, but you're financially struggling, there is a challenge. You can't experience happiness. Or you have a lot of money, you're making very good money, and you have amazing career going, but if your relationships are suffering, you cannot experience peace or happiness. Or if you have great relationships and great money, but your health is taking a toll, and if you're struggling with something health-wise, obviously you cannot be happy, right? So no more can we say that we can work or look at one aspect of it, and when you start working on it, the happiness does come. So happiness is a subjective thing, which is true, but it also is dependent on a lot of factors. When I work on the happiness wheel, I would say there are three aspects of it. One is your physical wellness, one is your mental wellness, and the other is emotional wellness. How you're feeling in your body, mind, and spirit together in unison contributes to your overall happiness. Right? How many of you agree? Okay, so when we say this is the realm of happiness, and these are the aspects and these are the categories of happiness, now can you please share with me, as a professional and also as an HR professional and individually also, what are the biggest challenges in the way of happiness for you? Let's begin with your employees, right? At your workplace, what do you think are the important challenges that you're going through right now? Mental and emotional wellness. Mental and emotional wellness are the same. We will talk about it. Mental wellness is your thought process, how you're thinking, how you're processing, how you're interpreting the experiences are mental wellness. So when you're having a lot of negative thoughts, anything related to your mindset could be attributed to the mental wellness. Now, when we talk about emotional wellness, how do you feel emotionally? So a thought and feeling together becomes an emotion. So that's a cumulative effect, but it is still different. So mental and emotional wellness, same. Social script, fantastic. Dr. Nandan, could you please elaborate on the social script? Okay, I think corporate has to first keep all system and policies and systems standardized to keep everyone understood. If they comply, they will get as per standard. That's fantastic. Creating benchmarks and streamlining processes and making sure systems are in place actually helps us to function better. That definitely adds to it. Temperament, adaptation, very good. What are some of the challenges that you're experiencing at your workplace right now? Are there no challenges? Okay, how many of you are experiencing stress? And especially during this pandemic times, it is very natural because we've all gone through a lot of uncertainty because we have come across health scare, which wave 1, wave 2, and we have seen a lot of information out there in the market, which was not contributing. And again, contributing to peace. It was very scary, and we were also hearing news from the loved ones or the communities we are living in, and a lot was at stake. A lot went into chaos. So there was a lot of uncertainty too. So especially during this pandemic, what do you think are the challenges? If you do not put in the chat box anxiety, correct? There is a lot of anxiety issues too. Could you please put it? This is just to bring to our attention what are the challenges we are currently facing. Or what is that one challenge you're facing at this time? Is it anxiety? Is it stress? Is it now stress also could be mental stress, a lot of negative thoughts crossing your mind. Your mind is not able to relax. Or it could be emotional stress that you're actually feeling that loneliness or listlessness or confusion or anxiety, uncertainty. Yeah. COVID management and mindless. Yeah. I would say it is mindful of things, too many things going in the head, isn't it? One of the things. Changes in expectations, emotional responses, because social distancing also has created a lot of chaos, right? In sense, and unfortunately, the period that we have been going through this stress, if it would have been a 3-month or a 6-month period, it is still understandable. You could quickly shift back. But we've been going through this for close to 2 years. So a lot of it has become ingrained in us. And we sort of research says that we sort of got something shifted and we have gotten used to certain level of distancing already. And disconnect as well. for decision making. Okay. All right. Fantastic. As Mr. Mukesh has mentioned, it is very important to have systems in place for us to order seamlessly, for us to function seamlessly in any process. And I understand the space HR is in right now because, first of all, we are individuals too, and we are going through the same challenges that everybody else are doing. But the table is turned here where we are responsible to, while taking care of ourselves, it is very important to create that safe, secure, positive environment for the employees, keeping in mind that their productivity and efficiency does not drop. Isn't it? Okay. Now, Nehali, can I request you to make me co-host so I can show a presentation?
Sure.
Thank you.
You are already a co-host.
Fantastic. All right. Okay. There you go. Okay, I have come here where I said it is important to understand wellness in 3 aspects, and no more can we actually look at things in silos. Okay. So, all right. So there is one very process that I would like to share with you all today, which is called happiness recipe. How many of you actually want to learn about this? If you want to learn about this, just type in the chat box, yes. How many of you want to know about happiness recipe? What do you think it could possibly mean? I mean, what do you mean by happiness recipe? Can there be a happiness recipe? Yeah. Pooja says yes, yes, yes. Fantastic. How many of you believe there can be a happiness recipe? Yes, of course. I too. Fantastic. Very good. Now, I'm going to share a happiness recipe, and this is largely for you, HR people, because remember, what you don't have, you can't give. So when you're going through a lot of chaos, stress, and anxiety, it is difficult to come up with anything positive for anybody else. Even if you look at it objectively, it isn't happening. So before we move to the happiness recipe, I would like to take you all through a very simple, a simple mindfulness meditation. Would you like to experience that? And before I share the happiness recipe. Yeah? Okay, sure, fantastic. Now for this, may I request you all to turn on the video. It will help me to help you experience this in a better way. Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 minute. So if you are unable to, for whatever reason, just put it in the chat box, please. Yeah, or you could, when you're ready, just put it in the chat box, I am ready, and then we're going to begin the process. Okay, very good. Go ahead, put it in the chat box. And I want you all to go through this simple exercise, because when you experience it in its fullness, you will be able to understand how it actually works. Okay. If you're ready, put it in the chat box. You're ready. Okay, ready. All right. So now I would thank you so much. So may I now request you to sit with your spine straight. And whenever you're ready, close your eyes. And just go through this with me. Let's get started, shall we? Can you hear me? Nehali, is it clear or?
Yes, it is clear.
It's clear. Okay, fine. All right. So sit with your spine straight. Whenever you're ready, close your eyes. Breathe in. And gently breathe out. And simply listen to what I have to say and reflect upon it. Drawing mindful awareness to our emotional experiences is one of the most powerful mindfulness practices we can explore. In doing so, we develop a new way of relating to whatever emotions are present. We come to witness it for what it is, softening the mind that relays repeated stories about our experience. Mindfulness of our emotions requires us to come into contact with the raw experience of the emotion itself. How does it feel within the body? Often we describe our emotions by recounting why we feel the way we feel. But this doesn't describe how the raw emotion is actually presenting itself within us. So this practice is to help you become aware of the emotions and harness compassion and patience to explore this by remaining open to learning something new about yourself, about your emotions, about the challenges. Breathe in and gently breathe out. Take a few moments to ground yourself by watching the flow of your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Once you settled, open your inquiry to consider, is there an emotion present here? Is there happiness present here? You do not need to actively seek anything. Simply open your awareness to whatever might be here. If you detect that there is indeed some emotion blocking your happiness right now, it could be anger, anxiety, confusion, grief, irritation. Consider where that emotion is present within the physical body. It might present itself as any number of sensations. Tightness, contraction, heat, coldness, pressure, heaviness, or lightness. Observe this emotion by noting the sensation, or simply be silently whispering, feeling. Notice where the mind may intervene to tell you a story about this experience. Bring to your awareness happiness and see what comes to you. What are the questions that are arising? What are the thoughts that are coming to your mind? And what solutions are coming up and showing? Fantastic. When you're ready, bring your awareness to the room. And open your eyes. So I now welcome you all to share that when you thought about happiness, what are the challenges that have come to your mind when you were in a relaxed state? Thank you, Dr. Nandan. So what kind of questions came to your mind? Were you feeling comfortable when the word was spoken? Could you please put it in the chat box? What thoughts may have come to your mind which was not there before? A lot of thoughts are coming. Okay. Okay. Self-awareness in many times. Okay. A lot of distractions come. True. That's true as well. So I'll quickly take you all through a simple formula that I practice. And this is not something I have invented. It is already been given. It's the science. So a simple word you need to remember is the word dose, right? It's happiness dose, happiness prescription. Very often when professionals come to me for coaching or to work with me, usually they say that they want to progress in career. So my question is, why would you want that? And then they would say, okay, because if I grow career-wise, then I will earn more money. And then I ask, okay, why that? What will happen if you earn money? Oh, then I will be more relaxed and there is not going to be financial pressure. Then why? Then why? So when you continue to ask these questions, usually what happens is a lot of it boils down to happiness. When you keep asking questions, and if you ask yourself also right now, why do you do what you do? You'll actually see everything is related to happiness, because that is the end result we all want to experience. We want to be at peace. We want to be calm. We want to experience inner peace, and we all want to be happy, isn't it? Now, when I said there are three aspects to happiness, one is a physical one. I am now talking about the physical or the scientific, the chemical aspect of your happiness, which is well proven by science. What happens is, whenever you have certain thoughts, they create certain feelings, and they together create certain emotions in your body. Now, when you have positive thoughts, you experience positive feelings. When you have negative thoughts, you experience negative feelings, right? So simply, when a thought is triggered in your mind, then your body releases certain kind of chemicals in your body. If you see something, you interpret it as something challenging, and then then the body recognizes it as a stress, and then the stress-related hormones are released in your body. They're like cortisol and adrenaline. So when they are released in your system, then you have your muscles contract, then your digestion stops completely, your blood flow increases, and then your vision becomes tunnel focused, and a lot of things happen internally, and then you experience that stress. Very simply, one of the sensations of stress is you feel the butterflies in your stomach, you start to sweat, you feel as if the blood has drained out of your body, so you feel very weak and exhausted. Or it could also be a lot of stress in the body in terms of the muscle pain, or your body contracts. So the same happens when you have happy thoughts as well. Now, one way of is having those kind of thoughts and creating that happy feeling in your body, but we can work the other way around also. Now, how is that possible? When you are happy, there are happy hormones that are released in your body, which are mainly, the main happy hormones are dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. These are neurotransmitters that create the happy feeling in your body. Now, there are ways that you can induce these chemicals in your body and experience it. The first one, let's talk about it. It is dopamine. Now, what happens with dopamine is, this is actually a neurotransmitter that is responsible for, Okay. Dopamine it facilitates reward, and it helps you stay, it works with motivation, setting certain milestones and achieving them. And then it also contributes to your memory and attention. So how can these dopamine chemicals can be released in your system? It is simply by setting and achieving goals. For your mind, it doesn't matter whether you have confirmed or you have signed up for a marathon or running 1 mile in your community. When you set a certain goal and achieve it, you experience this dopamine rush in your body. And then the second is by having a good night's sleep as well. When you sleep well, there is enough dopamine flowing through your body. It could also be brought through playing the small games, those small games that it triggers your mind intellectually, which is Scrabble, Sudoku, and puzzle, or doing chess and such like activities. The second one is oxytocin. Now, this is one chemical. It is also called love hormone. It's a cuddle hormone. So you feel love, affection, trust, and bonding when this is flowing through your system. So we human beings are very primitive when it comes to this. So a simple hug or a touch can actually create this hormone in your system. And then recollecting good times and memories, it also could actually release oxytocin. Or sometimes it happens, right, that we are talking about your childhood, or you're talking about your childhood friends, or you could be talking about your children, you automatically feel those emotions rushing back to you. So oxytocin is released then as well. And the next one is a very, very simple process. Smiling and laughing more often can release oxytocin. Now, here is a hack I tell you. When we say smiling, a lot of people say, I mean, I sometimes get depression cases also, and they say that I don't feel like smiling. There's nothing to smile about in my life. So, what do I do? And that is when I suggest to these people that as simple as holding your mouth in a smiling position, it actually creates, your mind believes that you're smiling. So I tell them that set up a clock and then just put it. And the very simple thing, which you all can do as well, is very simple. And this works fantastic. And again, this is not something I have invented. This is as per psychology, psychotherapy, we do suggest this to the patients. Holding a pencil or a pen between your teeth like this. And for just 1 minute or less than 1 minute, you could actually be activating these hormones in your head, because your mind believes what is happening, because certain muscles are employed. Once it's done, it actually believes that you're smiling, and then oxytocin is released in your system. So that is another way to bring or make yourself very happy for no reason at all. And the next one is serotonin. Now, sleep. When you sleep well, it also helps in digestion, and it helps you to be open to life, and it improves the memory as well. Interestingly, 70% of the serotonin is actually produced in your guts, in your stomach. So a very simple thing is eating healthy or meditating and music can actually improve your serotonin levels. Finally, endorphins. Now, also known as body's pain relievers, they can be activated by exercising or dancing or just getting some sunlight. Then that's very important. It is sad to see that we live in a tropical climate, but nowadays a lot of people are being diagnosed with vitamin D deficiency, right? Kind of funny, but then it is. Probably it is a lifestyle that we all are experiencing right now. So a good idea is to get out in the sun and get some sun, and you'll see these hormones getting activated in your system.
Miss Mallika, sorry to interrupt. I don't know, like whether I am only facing this lead, like not able to see the PPT clearly. There are some like blocks are coming up.
Okay. How is it now? Better? Nihali, can you see?
Better. Yeah, at least not on the screen. It is in the borders. So, but it is visible. The content is visible.
Now, is it okay?
No, not again. It is coming on the content.
Ms. Mallika, while sharing the screen, you will have to unclick the optimization part.
Oh, I have to.
Optimization. Yeah. But now. Yes,
yes. Perfect.
Good?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, you see the happy lady smiling?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so that was one way of bringing a lot of happiness into your life by chemically creating this environment. And it is very important. Holistic wellness should be the way forward. The next one, which a lot of research has been done, especially in the past 15 years, is they have seen that people who meditate and who follow these Zen practices are the happiest. And it not only changes their body chemistry, it also changes their mindset. It also impacts their cognitive behavior process. So what does it mean? It means that not only do they become healthier, they also have a certain positive mindset that actually helps them to interpret experiences and experience them, and also the way they respond to these crises, right? By when we say follow dose, which is very, very important, and that can give you a lot of, bring you to a place of goodness. But what happens is when we are going through day-to-day stress, and then add to that is the deep-seated stress that we've been carrying for so many years, and when they get triggered on a day-to-day basis, then your happiness or your peace of mind is challenged. A good idea is to practice mindfulness. Because remember, what you practice, you get. What you practice becomes permanent. And usually when I talk about mindfulness, a lot of people worry that, I do not have hours to meditate. And we also have that mindset that the moment I say mindfulness or meditation, a lot of people, the immediate image they get in their head is people wearing orange robes, shaving their head and sitting in one corner and then meditating away. But it is not necessarily that way. Mindfulness can be brought into your moments, and depending on how flexible you are, how flexible your schedule is, you can incorporate mindfulness in small chunks, in small spaces, so that you continuously but consistently practice mindfulness and meditation, which helps you wire your system and also helps your right brain and left brain to interact with each other. And that's when you experience everything in a wider perspective. One of you had mentioned that a lot of negative thoughts keep coming and you have a lot of distractions, and then focus could be a problem. When your right brain and left brain are interacting with each other, there is good communication there. You'll actually see that your attention span goes up, right? And then you are able to respond to situations instead of reacting to them. So simply said, as per Buddha, your mind is like water. When it is turbulent, it is hard to see. When it is calm, everything becomes clear. And being HR professionals, it is very important us to stay calm and composed all times, right? Not to become pressure cookers and bottling up our emotions and try to fake calmness, but really feeling calm and stable in our head so that we could, instead of reacting, we could respond to the situation and create desired results. And research shows that those who practice mindfulness meditation are 60% more productive and more happier. Okay. And statistics show that happiness increases your chance of promotion by 14%. And this is as per the research, and as per the Harvard research, they said that 70% of the doctor visits are due to stress that we all go through. There are day-to-day stresses and there are deep-seated stress as well. When you practice mindfulness meditation, not only will you overcome your day-to-day stress, but the deep-seated stress also can be eliminated. So success does not guarantee happiness, but happiness certainly guarantees success, isn't it? So this is the long and short of it. One second. Oh, yeah. All right. So when we are talking about mindfulness, another thing that comes to my mind is, as per the Gallup study I was going through, there is an alarming rate of burnout that has, spiked. And it is now 76%. And people are experiencing that extreme burnout. And especially due to pandemic, we have been working from home. Personal and professional lives have, blended, or rather come so close that the lines have blurred. Earlier, at least, when I'm packing up on a Friday evening and I'm leaving for home, I know that I have a weekend, I'm leaving office here and I'm going home, my family life begins. But nowadays, the situation has changed. And because those clear demarcations are not there anymore, it becomes a lot of stress and struggle. So we do offer mindfulness programs for employees, and especially to help you create a daily practice that helps you to become healthier, happier, and most importantly, more productive. And so that you have the clarity of what you want, what your goals are. You can stay focused, keep your attention on them, and accomplish more by doing less. So I hope this has helped. If you all have any questions, we could open the floor for that.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mallika. Now, before we move to the question and answer session, I would request all the participants to please visit the poll and give your feedback. I would request all of you to please participate. We would need maximum participation so that we can capture your feedback. Also, like whoever have attended today's session, we would be giving a participation certificate. For the same, you will have to send your details like your name and the session which you have attended on the email ID team@hrassociationofindia.com. Yeah.
Yes, I see a few questions here. Malika Biswas says, whenever start to meditate, feel relaxing, nothing comes in the mind. Things feels like settled. Okay. Dr. Nandan said, but this will be fake. I didn't understand that. Dr. Nandan, could you explain what exactly you meant by that? Maybe I could help.
Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Malika. It's a very wonderful session. And I have also practiced my mindful practice from last 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing and beautiful. But as you said, the practice of the pencil, which generate the chemical. So my question is, that is not a natural chemical then, might be, because it's a reaction only. Okay. So as you said, I'm fully agree with you. If you prepare your mind in a natural way, then this will be effective happiness, I believe.
Correct. I agree with you. End of the day, that is what we are aiming for. Like I mentioned, usually depression cases, when people come to us, we suggest them this exercise. We ask them to do it mechanically first, because in depression cases, unfortunately, no matter what it is, their body system is not allowing them to experiencing anything different.
So my question is, it's only for the people who have suffered from disease. It's this exercise is not for normal people, I believe.
It is for everybody. I mean, I tell my children also to do this.
Okay.
So the idea is not to disrupt. I'm saying, for example, yoga, right? When we say when you move your body in a certain way, it contributes to your overall health. And when you exercise, endorphins are released in your system, isn't it? But that also is something that we are doing superficially. It is just an act of a movement. So if you can consider.
Okay. So better if instead of this, better we can see some comedy movies, or we can
Yes.
What we call the laughing exercise and all. That will be more effective as compared.
Absolutely. So there's no one way about it. You could do so many more. This is just a single tip, right?
Okay.
Sometimes when we as professionals, we are working at the computer, we are lost in deep thoughts, or when we are engaged in certain things, you could just place the pencil in your between your teeth and you'll actually see a few results. So it is simple like face yoga. Nowadays, people say, do certain face yogas, make certain pout faces and all, and you'll actually see your face skin becomes, it glows and it loses, fat from your skin. It's something like that, a very simple exercise.
Okay, agree. And my second question is, apart from this, like you said, the mindful. So I have in my personal experience, your 47% mind is always in thought.
Mm-hmm.
So rest of the things, your mind is hacked by the different kind of environment, like today's scenario, if you see WhatsApp, Facebook, or some other things. So what about the pending, the balance part of the mind? Because 47% is already occupied by the thoughts. So how you minimize that? The mindful practice is wonderful, but how you minimize that then? Because every time you cannot go for meditation.
So a simple thing is, I believe, so 7 years back, we did a leadership workshop, and it was a 5-day workshop, and a lot of executives had joined, and then we were talking about different aspects, and then we spoke about mindfulness and meditation. Now, after 5 days, and we were spending many hours, I think every day, 8 hours workshop we had and everything. And by the end of it, my mentor, who was also leading the workshop, they said, okay, fine. So now that we understand how mindfulness is important, meditation is important, and we have research, everything shown. So what is they asked the participants, so what is that takeaway? What would you like to do? And what is the practice that you would like to take forward as a daily practice? So one of the executives, and he is one of the executives in, Fortune 500 companies, he said, I'm going to meditate for 1 minute every day. Trust me, when I was listening to it, I said, after so many hours of workshop, we have shown so many research and everything. He's saying he'll meditate just for 1 minute. But I'm so happy to tell you that since 7 years, he has never missed even a single session. And over the time, he can now meditate for 1 hour. What I'm trying to say is, what you practice, you get better at. If you practice worry, if you practice anxiety, if you practice stress, you will get better at it. But now if you're going to counter, and then you want to practice something else, which is going to minimize all these windows in your mind, then you're going to get better at mindfulness meditation. Because one of the things in my experience, what I've seen people find challenging is, they think that there is only one kind of meditation. Now, as per Vedas, Adiyogi, it is said that Lord Shiva has talked about 108 different forms of meditation. And these have been given in Vedas. Now, if he thought that one is enough for everybody, then it would have been the same, right? But if Adiyogi thought there are 108 different forms of meditation, maybe, and if you're following something, it isn't working for you, then maybe it is time to try something else. And a lot of times what happens is, I also see a lot of people going through YouTube videos and doing meditations or mindfulness. Now, my question is, if you want to drive a car, do you just, or learn to drive a car? If you have children, do you jump into the car and say, okay, let's start driving, and this is what we'll figure it out on the road? We can't, right? Because you need to understand how this works. What is the steering wheel, the gearbox, where is the brake, where is the accelerator, how do you shift gears, and all those things. You need to learn all those things so that when you get into the car, you experience it smoothly. It doesn't matter whether you have a Ferrari or a Fiat. If you do not know how to drive a car properly, you're not going to enjoy that experience. In fact, it will create more trouble than otherwise. So I would say that invest in this. Invest in learning mindfulness and meditation from, there are so many teachers out there, wonderful teachers out there who can take you through this process. Because once you get it right, it's like riding a cycle, right? Our parents, there's so many times we have fallen down, but they still very carefully guide us and take us on the right path and help us learn. And once you do, even if you haven't, went on a bike or cycled in 20 years, if I give you cycle today, you might fumble a little, but you'll get a hang of it very soon, right? That's because it's a muscle memory. Your body remembers it and how it is done. So I would say very important is get your fundamentals very right and understand it and then practice it. You'll actually see tremendous results. I'm saying this from my experience. I have been introduced to meditation when I was 7 years old. But then when I was mid of my corporate career, when I was doing extremely well career-wise, everything was so great. I went through severe breakdown because of burnout, and I hit depression. And that is when I had to pull up my socks and said, you know what? I need to re-look at it and reconsider. And I have had the good fortune of meeting my teachers, my masters. But if I would have relied on saying, oh, I learned it when I was 7 years old and I'll repeat it as a parrot, it wouldn't have got me any results. And in my experience, in 18 years now, I have learned over 60 psychological and spiritual modalities. And I can tell confidently that different strokes for different folks. So there is no one size fits all. So understand your, because what might work for me today might not work for me tomorrow. So I need to upgrade myself consistently. But to understand the fundamentals is the primary responsibility. Once you get your fundamentals right, then everything else can be managed and you will experience desired results, I tell you. Because once I did my process, there was no looking back. No, not once have I taken any depression pills, and I have completely recovered. In fact, my doctors were surprised when it was so. So I would say that invest in yourself, find the right teacher, but most importantly, start a daily practice. And that is what is going to get you through in the long term.
Thank you so much for explaining it so well. We are running out of time, but I will take last two questions. Okay, we'll take this one from Mr. Mukesh. What all are good practices at workplace by which we can increase our happiness quotient?
Okay, if I understand right, what are different ways of increasing happiness quotient?
Yeah, what are the good practices which we can implement at workplace to increase our happiness?
All right. So like I mentioned before, when we talked about dose, I also gave under each of these chemicals, what are the activities that help you to experience it, right? Individually, you could do that. But when you're driving it as part of your employee centricity or employee wellness, it is important to not just address it on a superficial level, because happiness is a very intimate process, right? So I would say get your systems right, make it easy for employees to having an environment which is safe and secure is very, very important. I would say one game changer could be helping them understand and practice an attitude of gratitude. So if you could do exercises, practices, challenges, contests around this subject of attitude of gratitude, you'll actually see a lot of shift. You can bring more fun. You can create fun activities around it. And I have seen it helps employees a lot, and it's a beautiful employee engagement activity.
Absolutely true. One more interesting question. What makes a person behave negatively or see negative about everything? How can we develop positivity in such an individual? Is it even possible?
I think we all go through negativity, right? We all go through our bad times where we are experiencing something stressful, and sometimes we are triggered in a certain way that a lot of things act up in our head too. But if there is somebody who's especially negative, I would again go back to attitude of gratitude. The best way is have exercises around it. What I recommend my clients is to start a gratitude journal. That means voluntarily look for something positive. And as you keep practicing it, you'll actually see that your mind automatically starts to look for positive things around you. Because this is not, again, a woo-woo concept. It is, there is a bunch of nerves in your system, which is called RAS, reticular activating system. Basically, you're sending certain programs to it. If I say, look for something red, this bunch of neurons, they actually start looking for that particular information. So they are basically your mind's filters. So when you do gratitude exercise, you'll actually see you're programming your mind to look for positive things.
True. Thank you so much. It is really unfortunate that we will have to end this session over here. I wish we could have more 30 minutes so we could have covered more question, more discussion, and more enlightenment. But thank you so much, Ms. Mallika, on behalf of all the participants. I am seeing a lot of positive feedback. Like, many people are thanking you, and for sure, like, this session would have benefit to all of us, including like everyone. So thank you so much. We wish to host you again very soon for our next sessions. Also, thank you so much to all the participants for attending today's session. We would love to have you in our next session. So before we conclude with our today's session, we would also want to thank all the association members, which is Geisha, NASCOM COE, LinkedIn Local, Telgro, TLE, Wiki, and GlipTalk for supporting this HRAI events. To know more about this association, you can visit the link which is provided in the chat window. Thank you so much once again to everyone. Please do join us for our next Connecting the Dots webinar on emotional wellness on September 30th, 2021. Please register for this event for the link which is mentioned in the chat window. Till then, please stay safe, take care, have some mindfulness, meditation activity in your daily routine, and see you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Nehali and Peter. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. Have a happy weekend, all of you. Thanks, Shyam. We can conclude the session.